try something new and see how it work out. Something different. It was just making me feel good about myself. Where when you normally get out, nobody cares. Seems like y'all have some concern about people getting out of jail and trying to help them better their life, change their life, and be more aware of better ways to go in life. What do I think about them? It was just a good experience, something different. At least I got my life together today. I've been clean since I got out the last time. Haven't used, haven't smoked cigarettes. Been doing good, I changed my life to the point where I don't want to go back in there, and I'm not going through that no more. So I got to make better choices today. It taught me to humble myself to deal with whatever comes at me and not really overreact to any type of stress or problems in my life. Just taught me to be patient and deal with them to the best of my ability. I want to live today, be able to, get out my bed and do what I want to do, not being in jail, not able to do what you want to do. And, like I said, I'm getting older now, and it's time for me to, get that lifestyle up because I'm too old to be doing time, and I just don't want my freedom snatched from me anymore. I got married. My wife is down south. She works for the Department of Correction. She's the assistant to the warden. Oh yeah, she keeps me straight. She lives down south. She comes up once a month, and I go down there once a month. So it's like back and forth until she retires. She's gonna retire in like 2.5 years. Well, I knew her. She used to be a correctional officer in Connecticut back in '96. And she used to live right in my neighborhood. I knew her family and everything, and I met her on Facebook. Ran back into her on Facebook. We clicked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, she coming up August 2nd. That's our year's anniversary. So, I've been doing the right thing, man. Yeah, definitely.
Did you get a chance to see the film that we made?
Yeah, I've seen it. It was okay. Yeah. Well, it was a while ago, and I can't remember all of it, but I remember that one of the guys going back and, stressing about, going back to jail. I mean, he didn't make it out there, so could have been a little better, I think. Well, anyway, those people had people, like, as far as me, I had people that wasn't interested in, like my parole officer, they didn't want to be seen on camera, and, it was a lot of obstacles in front of me, as far as me getting a little cut in the movie. But the people you had in the movie, they POs was cool with it, And you seen basically inside it looked like you was inside the jail with him. You know what I'm saying? But it was pretty good. But that was like a year ago I seen it. Well, yeah, it could be used to stop people from ever entering into the system. Like showing it to people that's never really been in the system and give them an idea of what it's like to be in the system and how tough it is. Once you make that bad choice, it's really tough to turn around, when you're young and you coming up and you're experiencing, life, you want to touch the water, you know what I'm saying? And if you go in that wrong direction, you caught up in the trap, And it's hard to, unless you got good sense to catch on soon. If you don't, you're just going to be in the cycle. You know what I'm saying? Some people just make bad. It's about choices you make. You got the choices you make. There's good consequences and there's bad consequences. It just depends on what choice you make. As far as the cycle, once you get caught out, you get in trouble, you used to the fast life, and you just, it's like a adrenaline rush where once you get caught up in it, you caught up in it until you get sick and tired of being sick and tired of going in and out of jail. You know what I'm saying? But most people, once they get a taste of that, then they come back out and they don't have no patience or, you know, like, no thinking that there's no future for them. You don't have no future, you know, they take a lot of your rights away. As soon as you get caught up in the system and you lose the rights to get a good job, you know, I mean a real good job. You lose a lot of rights, and when you take them rights away from people, it's like it's a trap, you ask me. It's a trap, to be honest with you, set up by, you know, the people that's running, you know, the country. You know what I'm saying? They make it rough on somebody if he make a mistake in that life. I mean, really rough. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they got classes of people. When you get in trouble and you into that life, you're one of the low class people. You know what I'm saying? And then they got everybody mind framed in that state of mind where they think they just stuck, man. It's crazy how life is today. You know what I'm saying? Okay, put it like this. Once you get arrested, you blackballed. It's like you got you blackballed. You can't get what normal people can get in life as far as a good job, the main thing. You know, once you try to get a job, you got to start in some old pigsty job. You might could go up, but you can't go as high as you could have went if you would have made better choices in life. That's what I'm trying to say. Once you get that sticker on you, it's like your life is partially over as far as being able to be a police, being able to be a CO, being able to be, you know, just get a real good job. That's what I'm trying to say. What you gonna be doing is busting subs for the rest of your life, or some other maybe, you know, even if you try to get a job driving a truck, it's gonna be hard to get in unless you get lucky. And see, people don't have that type of patience to go through the channels to get a job that's halfway decent. They just give up hope before they could even start getting into it. You know what I'm saying? As far as once they get rejected, they say, man, I ain't got time for this. I'm about to go back and do what I normally do. And you know, that's like to sell drugs, hustle, whatever, just to get money to live. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have that kind of patience to know that it's a shining light at the end of the tunnel if you keep, you know, pushing to do what you gotta do. It's ways, you know, they think there's no future once they get hemmed up in the system. That's what that's what I'm saying. There is a future, but not as bright as it could have been. Once you get that mark, you can never get to the point where you could be a police chief. You could be a warden. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say? Is once you get, you know, once you get a record, you know, it's just hard to get to that point where you could be anything. They say you could be anything you want to be, but once you get that record, them dreams are over. So, and most people don't understand the consequences of pushing forward, although you made a mistake, and trying to be the best you could be. As far as you can still be all right, but you can't be. Say you can go up 80%, but you can't get to that 100%. It's just like a curse. Put it like that. Once you get a record, you curse. Put it like that. Well, it kept me focused a little bit until, it kept me focused and gave me enough time to build a foundation to not want to go back to the lifestyle I used to live. As far as, I used to get high and just enjoy life and have fun and do whatever to survive, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I just changed my ways and I'm 100% better today than I was 2 years ago when I got out coming up on 2 years in October, you know? So I can say I'm a better person today. Do I think any changes should be made? I would recommend for them not to be so hard on people. They just treat you like shit, put it like that. I think they should respect people a little more than they do, you know? They don't give you no respect. You like nothing to them. And like the parole officer I had, she just had a snotty attitude. She look at you like you nothing. You know what I'm saying? You could just see it in her. And that just made me sick to be around her. And I didn't want to be around her. And I couldn't care about going. I'd rather be in jail than to have to deal with her. You know? But they just so disrespectful. Talk to you like they kid or something. Even worse. You know what I'm saying? Now you're a grown man and you ain't gonna have no chick younger than you talking to you like they your mama. You know? Not really your mama, but a disrespectful mama that don't give a F about you. You know? I would just want them to know you don't want to go through what I've been through. You need to make better choices in your life. You need to really, like they say, education is the key to life. And a clean record is the road to success. To me, you know what I'm saying? As long as you stay out of trouble and keep your nose clean and get a good education, you should be all right. You know what I'm saying? The life I live ain't the life you would want to live. Take it from experience. Don't try to, everybody got to learn on their own. Like, a lot of people just don't give a F about what you say or what it is. Some of them just want to see what it is for themselves. They like to experience things firsthand, you know.
Yeah.
Some people, some kids will listen. Just then you gotta look at who you be raised around. The kids who they raised around, what neighborhoods they raised in. You got kids in the suburbs. They ain't got too much going on out there. I mean, they could get caught up in the cycle just by dipping out and dipping in the city and just got that want to try to get high and understand what getting high is about and just experience getting high. And then they get mixed up in the bullshit, you know what I'm saying? But you have they have a 80% better chance in that neighborhood to be successful than someone in the poor neighborhood. Because the idols in the poor neighborhood ain't good idols. You know what I'm saying? The role models in poor neighborhoods, they look up to drug dealers and things like that. And out in the suburbs, people look up to, what's out there with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just the community you come up with. 9 times out of 10, in a uppity neighborhood, the kids gonna be all right. They're gonna go to school. They might get high, but they ain't gotta be out in the street hustling to get high because they people's got money. You know what I'm saying? So they could dip and dab and see what it's like and just disappear and go back, and get educated because they got money to do all that. You know what I'm saying? But when you're in a poor neighborhood, you got people running around selling drugs, shootings and killings, and it's a whole different lifestyle. And you got to be a strong young man to get through that, you know, get through all that's going on around you without indulging into it. You gotta be really strong, you know what I'm saying? So that's a lot to do with it, you know, the environment, what you see coming up. You know, young kids look at, you know, their big brothers as role models and their big brothers out there doing foolishness, so they gonna do the same thing they do. You know what I'm saying? Well, the documentary, well, all I've seen in the documentary is what people go through when they in jail and what people go through when they get out, and the things they got. I mean, it's a good educational piece of information if somebody could look at it and understand what you're trying to say. You know what I'm saying? They gotta really look at it and see what it is. You know what I'm saying? Is this how you want to live, or you gotta have two options out there in something like that type of documentary. You gotta have the bad, and then you gotta have the good. You know, as far as the good life and the jail life, you gotta have two different documentaries. And if you can, you know, play them and compare them, and if people follow, like you could say this is part two or something like that, and it's a whole different lifestyle, you know. You got to show them the two types of lifestyle that's out there. You know what I'm saying? You got to educate them in that way too. You could you could be like this or you could be like this. You know what I'm saying? Halfway house staff, I never really, I mean, halfway house staff, they are pretty good because they don't disrespect you and think they know God over you. They just there and they just, you know, they keep an order in the halfway house, but they respect you and they talk to you like a real human being. And as far as parole officers, excuse my friends, but they could kiss my ass, and I can't stand them. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping it 100. Because they ain't nothing but assholes that got a little authority and think they better than you and treat you like you ain't shit. So they can just, you know, as far as I said, that's what they could do for me. Well, halfway house staff, they good people. I ain't had no, when I was in the halfway house years ago, I mean, I could adjust to that and I stayed in it and I did what I had to do. And I got out of there because it was a good environment. Going to parole and all that is not a good environment. That's why a lot of times, a lot of people go back to jail because they don't want to deal with the parole officers, period. They need to get rid of the parole office. And it's a waste of taxpayer money. You're just paying them to be assholes and treat people like shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like they just reserving a bed. You go get on parole 9 times out of 10, you're going back to jail. Especially if you ain't putting up with no bullshit. That's why I ain't care about going back to jail. I just wanted. One time, I had a bid before this bid I just did, and I said to myself, I do not want to go on parole. I'm going to just discharge. And that's when they put me in the halfway house. Because I wouldn't accept parole because I didn't want to deal with it. So I just did all my time. And all parole is just making room for the next inmate to have room and then know you coming back. It's just, you know, it's like to make room for a little while because sooner or later, if you're on parole, you're going back. Well, I mean, I enjoyed your company. It was a good feeling to be followed and filmed, and I really enjoyed it, and I appreciated the phone for a year, and it helped me out a whole lot. And it was a good experience for me. I mean, y'all good people, man, and I respect what y'all doing because y'all really trying to just understand what it is like to go to jail, to get out, and how rough it is out there for you when you get out. If you ain't got the patience to endure all this bullshit you're going to go through, you're just going to go right back in the system. And when you're young, it's easy for you to fall into that trap. But like at my age, it's like Yo, I ain't do, I gotta change my ways if I don't want to keep doing what I've been doing for the last 30 years. And that's like in and out of jail, you know? So I had to change the way I live, you know, and just be a better person. Spend time with my grandkids. I love it. I spend time with my daughters and my son, and, you know, my family. I'm just out here living, man. Well, I ain't feel bad. I mean, maybe it would have meant for me to be in there. I didn't like some parts of what I was going through, like when I was in jail that time, and I kind of broke down, and I ain't really want that shit on. You know, things I'm good with it. I'm good. But it was just the experience was good. You know? It was something different and something new. All I gotta say is, you got one life to live. When you make them mistakes and make those bad choices, you fuck your life up. And if that's the way you want to go, you'll suffer in the end. Just make better choices in life, you know, so you ain't gotta go through this system because you ain't gonna want to be locked down. You ain't gonna want to eat the slop that they feed you. No telling what they put in the food because it just ain't right, you know. So if people want to live like that, that's on them. You just remember you fucking your life up when you go in that direction. And there's no return once you in it. You know? 'Cause I wish I could have been what I wanted to be, but once I got that black mark, like black ball on me, all them dreams went out the window. Like I say, man, you can't get to the highest point that you want to get once you get a record. What did I want? I wanted, to be honest, I was about to be a state trooper. And you know, I let the street life take my attention because I was all set up for to do the physical and do the test. And I let something change, you know, turn me away from that direction. And I got involved in the street and it just fucked me up. And I was so, you know, I made that bad choice. And it went out the window, you know? It went out the window. So, can't be what you want. If you catch a case and get a record, being what you want is really out the window. You could be something, but you can't be what you really want to be. You know? It's hard. It's hard. I mean, very hard. But I done seen people get up, like the pardons and do that, but it's real hard, man. It's really hard. The street life, you know what I'm saying? I made a bad choice. I was all set, ready to go, man. All I had to do was make that appointment, and I didn't make it. Thank you very much. And you take care of yourself, and I'll stay in touch, definitely.